It started off with the NES Classic Edition and then the Super Nintendo Classic Edition a few years later. Then a lot of other companies off of that success, they started making their own little mini consoles, the Sega Genesis Mini, TurboGrafx Mini. I thought these things were awesome, and I still do. I had a lot of fun playing these things, doing content on them. I still play my Super Nintendo Classic Edition every once in a while. These things were neat. A lot of people were into them. I thought it was an interesting way to get back into some retro gaming. Sure, there's tons of ways to play these games, but just the nostalgia of it, having something that looked like the original hardware, getting a controller that was very similar to the original, it was really awesome, and nobody's really doing that so much anymore. We kind of speculated on things for a long time. Is a Nintendo 64 Mini gonna be next? That kind of thing. And then what was Sega gonna do next? You know, they did a couple Sega Genesis Minis, the Astro City Mini came out, all these different things. Sega had some surveys they did out in Japan where they were asking people about what they thought, you know, they should do with another Mini, like a Sega Saturn Mini, a Dreamcast Mini. So it kind of got people talking again. And then now, just the other day, Sega's CEO says, hey, we're not a retro company. We don't do retro things. We are not going to be doing a Sega Saturn or Dreamcast Mini. Like, what the hell, dude? People want these things. And, you know, going back to the Nintendo 64 Mini, I did do a video, I don't know, it was some months ago, where we made a Nintendo 64 Mini because we knew Nintendo wasn't going to do it. And this was a lot of fun. Pretty awesome stuff. And today, since Sega says, screw you guys, we're going to be doing the same thing. Boom, the Dream Case from Retro Flag. I just discovered this, so we are going to run through the process real quick of making your own Dreamcast Mini. I'm really excited for this. I didn't even know this existed, so that's what we're going to do. Make our own little Dreamcast Mini. I'm going to put everything in the description of what we do, how we do it, the items that I'm using. So let's just get into it as quick as possible. Look at this little thing, dude. It looks like a little Dreamcast. Look at that. Dude, the USB ports for controllers. If you want to use wired, we have a power button. Come on, Sega. Shit. Like, you could do this. Look at that. Man, like, this is neat. This is neat. So let's go ahead and do this. We gotta have a Raspberry Pi 5. That's first off. I have this active cooler on here. I do need to remove that. But okay, we got that off. The first step that we're gonna do is we're gonna install this Pi into the case here. And then from there, we're going to do all the software, get the games on here, and we will run through all that. I'll show you everything that we have to do. It's not crazy difficult, so let's get it rolling. Thermal pads. Put these on. Okay. We need some screws. It's gotta be these little tiny ones. Don't want to over tighten these, just get them to right where they are snug. It's going to be like that. So this goes here. We do have fan pins that go right here. And this goes on the end of the GPIO. There we go. See, it shows you to like connect everything and then to screw everything in like after the fact. But that's like near impossible because like there's two screws. So we got one right here. There's no way I was going to reach that. And then there's one that goes right there. That one might have been possible. Okay. Now let's reattach. Kind of just sandwich everything in there. Make sure we're not pinching anything. Now we could screw in everything else. there we go. Here's the little cover for this side. Micro SD card slot right there. Do have a micro SD card right here. Reset, power, and this is to open the little storage area here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this thing set up, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use because I don't have like a wireless Dreamcast controller, but I got like the next best thing is like this new Hunter 360 from Retro Fighters, which I've been really digging this controller. Been using it a lot. So we're gonna use that on this. It's kind of fits with it, I think. But so to get this set up, to make it a Dreamcast Mini, we're gonna download Batocera, go through that process. So we're gonna go to the Batocera website for the image. They have images for all sorts of different devices. We're gonna download it for the Raspberry Pi 5. So we're gonna download that, unzip it. Now there's multiple ways to do this. I'm just going through the way I've been doing this type of stuff for years now. So if you do it a different way, I don't care. This is the way I do it because it's the way I'm comfortable building images or setting up images, you know, whatever. So I'm going to use WinDisk 32 Imager to burn this image to an SD card. So with that program, I'm going to write this image to the SD card that I'm going to use, pop that into my PC, make sure that the drive letter that is assigned to that micro SD card is exactly the right letter, because I don't want to accidentally screw something up and write the image to something else. So always double check that whenever you're burning an image for any kind of device. If it's a RetroPie, a Batocera image, whatever it is, double check. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, allow that to take a moment. It shouldn't take very long because there's nothing on the image, just the base image, right? So once that's done, we're gonna load it up into our Dreamcast Mini, but it's not really Dreamcast Mini yet. Gonna pop it in, plug in the power. I'm using a one of the 45 watt USB-C power supplies for the Raspberry Pi. You need 5 volts, 5 amps for the Pi 5. You can get away with 5 volts, 3 amps, but it'll like restrict the USBs a little bit. So I would just go 5 amps, 5 volts, or 5 volts, 5 amps. This one provides that. There's other power supplies, but whatever you got, just make sure you're using the appropriate power supply. So we allow it to boot up. It's going to repartition the SD card. It's going to run through some things for a moment. Now, I'm also going to be connecting a USB keyboard that's wireless or wired, doesn't really matter. Plug that in. We're going to go through and connect to Wi-Fi. So once we connect to Wi-Fi and that's all confirmed, you can go ahead and download some themes if you want, kind of manipulate a few things or, you know, customize things, or you can just wait and do that later. But what we're going to do, because we want to get some games on here, so I'm going to go back on my PC with the Dreamcast Mini still powered on, connected to the internet, to my network, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go on my PC. I'm going to use FileZilla, an FTP program, to SSH into the Pi 5 and go ahead and load up some games. So obviously I can't directly link you to any games, but Internet Archive, plenty of places, you'll find them if you look hard enough, right? Very easy. Internet Archive. Plenty of different file formats. I'm using a CHD, so they're just single files for each one of these games. So with FileZilla, there is a few things we have to type in to connect to our Raspberry Pi 5 to, you know, load it up. So in FileZilla, for host, we're going to type in the IP address. To get our IP address in Batocera, we just need to go back on that system on the Raspberry Pi. You could hit start on a controller or spacebar on the keyboard and go to network settings and it'll show your IP there. So you're going to type that in to host on FileZilla. For username, it's root. Password is Linux, all lowercase. Port, put 22, click quick connect, and it should just go through the motions and connect. Now, your PC and your files are on the left side of this. The Pi 5 Batocera build is on the right. So on the Pi side, you're going to navigate to user data ROMs and Dreamcast, and you're going to start transferring the games from your PC into that specific folder. If you're going to add any other systems, you just go and add those ROMs to the specific system for, you know, that console, right? Now, you're going to need a BIOS for Dreamcast as well. So you're going to have to download that. You can find the same place, Internet Archive. Just go on Google, search for Dreamcast BIOS pack, whatever. You'll find it. But for BIOS, you're going to go to user data, BIOS, and then you're going to create a directory called DC, just simply DC. It's a folder. And then in that folder, you're going to go ahead and put whatever BIOS files you have, and then you're done there. That's it. So we've transferred our games, put our BIOS files in there. Now, if you want to make the build look a little more pretty, you can go ahead and go back on the Pi, scrape some artwork and metadata for all the games. Otherwise, it's just going to be blank. It's just going to have the game ROM names, and that's it. But you can scrape everything, get the metadata. You just get that in the settings. There's lots of different options to choose from and how you want things to look. You can get videos, box art, screenshots, all sorts of things. You can also download new themes, bezels to customize things. And if when you're downloading the metadata for a game and it scrapes incorrectly or changes the name to a different region's name, you can go in and redo individual games later by either rescraping them individually or editing the metadata, you know, yourself for each individual game. I've had to do that in the past because it'll name a game the Japanese naming instead of the English name when I have the US version of the ROM. Just sometimes that happens. So there we go. We got everything loaded up. We got our little Dreamcast Mini going here. I think this is pretty sweet. Any of these controllers that like run like an Xbox controller, they're going to be plug and play. You're not going to have to do any configurations with this. I just simply plugged in this Retro Fighters Hunter 360 controller and it just worked. But yeah, really cool stuff. Let me go ahead and just show you because I know I recorded a lot of footage, but we'll go ahead and plug this in and power it up here so you could see it, like everything just booting up. Got our little Dreamcast Mini right there. I mean, it says I think I got like 46 games added here. But I could always go back, add more over time if I want, but let's load up Gunbird. And all these games are gonna run like really great on the Raspberry Pi 5. Like Dreamcast has ran decently well for a long time on the, you know, Raspberry Pi. It's not like, you know, back in the Pi 2 or 3 days. Like Pi 5, you know, all the revisions of the updates with the emulators and whatnot. We're good. We're good. Not gonna have any issues. And then with your controller, you just hit select and start and it exits. You didn't have to configure that. It's just the way it works. Going to Dead or Alive 2. Oh crap. Like I don't know what games Sega would have put on a Dreamcast Mini if they actually made one, but you know, they probably would have screwed us and only put like 8 to 10 games anyway. So I mean, this might wind up being a cheaper option anyway, I think. Could be, or not. It's a funner option in my opinion to set it up yourself, get the games you want. It's just a little cool little project. If you wanted to follow along, everything will be in the description. And then a lot of people's favorite, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Ah. Oh, we missed. So there was that. What else do we got here? Tons of stuff, man. Tons of stuff. So I don't know what else to say. Sega didn't want to do it themselves, so we had to do it our own damn selves. Screw them, I guess. It is what it is. I mean, I had fun making this thing. I think this case is pretty sweet. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll have all the information in the description, pinned comment for anything needed if you want to replicate this. But yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye.